Hello, family. Welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I am Wongel Zelalem. Let me just fix the mic. Hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this from. Today, I have an update, a dramatic one, to say the least. 11 days ago, exactly 11 days ago, we talked about a topic. I covered a story coming out of China, and that story was about a group of Malaysian tourists that traveled to China, filmed themselves being so xenophobic towards their fellow Asian people, um, acting, or okay, we can't call it acting if that was their lived experience. They were visibly mocking the locals. They were pinching their nose. They were saying the locals are smelly, and these are Malaysian tourists doing that to Chinese locals. And that video quickly went viral, and the people face, those tourists face a lot of backlash from the Chinese community. And we covered the topic because it was such an ironic conversation, at least on this channel, because we talk about how Chinese people act towards Black people and how they pinch their nose, how they act like, someone that is subhuman came amongst them, and how they mock and like, but when it happened to them, now they saw that it's wrong. They just were angry. They were dragging these folks. They were also asking for justice. They were saying they need to pay the price. And mostly it was one lady that was the center of attention, because she's the one, like the main character, let's say, that filmed herself, filmed others, and then posted it. So once it went viral, I'll show you, in case by any chance you missed it, I'll show you like the clip they posted and what got them in trouble and got the Chinese losing it. She was the main character because she's the one that posted it on her platforms, and then it went viral, and then she took it down. She was acting tough, I'm not gonna lie. I remember around June 16, a few days ago, she even made a statement and threatened those people that reposted the video that she took down, and she was threatening everyone that talked about it uh, with legal action. She was saying she will sue everyone. Like, she was acting tough, and when she was being asked to apologize, she said, "Over my dead body." Well, maybe you already guessed it. We'll talk about it, but side note, she has apologized. But on top of that, we have learned that you, that I'll tell you that in a bit. But for those, let's just catch up, people. Let me share my screen with you. If you have not watched what they did and what angered the Chinese, this is what she did. And I'll just mute it because they're screaming quite a bit. You can read some of the things that are being said here. The Malaysian group that went to China filmed themselves pinching their nose, saying in their own language, it's written that there's a subtitle saying that these people need to shower, they stink, you name it. These girls, this group of people said it. They were harassing or making fun of the driver. They were acting a fool. I mean, we could all agree, as a tourist, like, you need to respect the country that you're visiting, their culture, their way of life. You're supposed to respect it, right? But that's not the same thing that we go through when they come to us. That's a different story. But this lady, read what she's saying. Like, you just need to read it. I don't even need to say it out loud. So this group of, yeah, so this is what happened, right? This was like me sharing the story. I even tried to put these two in parallel, and call out the hypocrisy, because when they do it constantly every day to our people, they don't see any problem with it. But as soon as it happens to them. This girl needs to pay. She needs to lose her job. By the way, okay, one of some of the updates includes her job and her job being something that we didn't expect. And yeah, they were angry. And it got me thinking, um where have we seen this before, like this reaction towards other people, you know groups of people, when you go to China or they come to your country, when they see a black person, what usually happens? I'll let you guess, but you don't have to guess. We've talked about it plenty times here. Even ask the question, like, what is up with their nose? Like, why do they feel the need to pinch their nose whenever they see black people around them, right? And this was a discussion that we've had before. Like, as I said, it's not one, it's not twice, it's not three times, it's not four times. We have seen it all happen. Like, whenever you see an interaction between a black person in China, mostly in China, it's like they quickly immediately go to the hand on the nose or like on the mouth kind of move, right? Even when they come to the continent, they're always wearing a mask, right? We were asking, what is that about, right? Like, and they didn't see any problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that. When we talk about it, we're told, why are you moaning? Why are you complaining? And why do you have a problem with us, right? But when a group of Malaysian women go to their country as tourists, I might add, and act the exact same way as they do to, yeah, that's that's what we were saying 11 days ago, right? And yeah, uh, I guess now it's a problem. So, unfortunately for this Malaysian tourist that filmed her reaction and posted it online, that went viral. I mean, at this point, at this day and age, we should all know, when you put up a video, a picture, a post, it's going to live there forever. She has deleted it, but we have the clips. It's circulating around, it's everywhere, right? I don't know why some people don't get that. Like, if you think you're going to regret it, think about it before you post the video. Think about it before you say anything. But that's not usually what happens. People live like in the YOLO mentality. You only live once kind of thing. But if you don't believe in the statement that you're making, please don't, right? Especially for the younger generation. I feel so bad for them. We didn't have that access at 12, 13, 14, 15. Now they have that, and they probably are going to regret most of the things that they are posting. Digital footprint is real. But anyways, she posted it, deleted it, refused to apologize. She said, over my dead body, I am not going to apologize. She was threatening people to sue and all of that. But they got to her because the Chinese people would not accept this or let this go, which I hope we're taking notes. Maybe that we can have a conversation later on. There's a lot to learn from this situation. How certain groups of people do not take disrespect easily. They will not allow any kind of, mistreatment or racism towards them. And so we really have to learn from this. Anyways, they made so much noise, and they created so much pressure on the Malaysian authorities. The authorities spoke out, specifically the Inspector General Police in Malaysia, and he said they have opened an investigation. And fam, this is this is what I was not expecting this. Apparently, our girl here, the tourist that got this backlash and posted all this stuff that is facing the uproar or the outrage of the Chinese, she is a police officer in Malaysia. It turns out she's a cop. She is a cop. You can't make this stuff up. She is a cop, and she went to China and reacted the way she reacted, posted it, took it down, threatened the people for reposting it. And now her boss's boss, the Inspector General of Police, have opened an investigation, and she has now apologized since then, though she is not suspended as of yet on the job. I guess in Malaysia it's different, because many other places they usually suspend you and then they do their investigation, but she gets to continue. I guess she didn't lose a lot unless they find that she did something wrong, which they probably will, because come on now. So she has continued working, but she is under investigation, and the authorities are taking it very seriously. Because why? Let me ask you, why is that? Because the people of China spoke out, and they refused disrespect. They refused racism towards them. The same racism they inflict on other people, the same thing that they do to others. When the tables turned and it happened to them and their own aunties and uncles, they got angry. They were outraged. They called it out. They came together and demanded for justice. And you know what this reminds me of? I know this is an individualistic conversation, but you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the US China tariff war. Remember when it happened last year? And when Trump's administration was trying to twist their arms, what they did? Don't worry. If you are not there, or if you forgot, I am here to remind you. Let me show you this. No, this is not this one. I've already shared this. Give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. This one. Tariff war. For example, when it comes to self-respect, it should never be negotiable. It should be non-negotiable. And that's exactly what the Chinese have done. After Van's comment, look at what they've done.
We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. That is not a recipe for economic prosperity. It's not a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good jobs in the United States of America.
中方对中美经贸关系的立场已经讲得很清楚了。听到这位副总统说出这样无知又缺乏礼貌的话，令人诧异，也感到悲哀。
And the lesson for Africa is that African nations should never normalize being talked down to. Leaders, intellectuals, and media figures must call out disrespect swiftly and confidently. A nation that respects itself earns respect from others. I was looking for, I guess it's not in this clip. There was a Chinese minister that was asked a question about America, and his answer was, okay, you have a lot to lose, bring it on. If you want to increase the tariff, we will increase the tariff too. If you're going to disrespect us, we're gonna show you what we're capable of. And guess what happened? Do you remember? Does anybody remember what happened after Trump called them names, Vance called them names, and they increased the tariff? China immediately and swiftly did the exact same thing, said no to disrespect, and then all of a sudden they made peace. They made peace because as a people, when something happens to them or one of them or their nation, they do not take it lightly, and they use a unified voice. They come together even with their own disagreement, their own issues, their own grievances. They're able to understand they are more powerful when they use their voice together at the same time. And honestly, like as much as I am glad they can see how it's unfair how they treat Black people, and how it's ridiculous. Like, if you don't want to be treated this way, then don't treat your neighbors, your friends, like the people that you know or are around you that way. It's like you would think that's like the number one moral or character that you learn as you grow up, but it's like they seem to, at least most of them, the ones we've interacted with, the ones we've talked about, they seem to have just like one way of looking at things. They don't care if it's someone else, right? But there's a lot to learn in the way they're moving, in my opinion. And they're not the only communities that do this. Help each other out. Make sure that if one is hurt, they all say no to that nonsense. But I just realized I didn't play for you this update. 1 second.
From the Malaysian lady that mocked Chinese people are smelly, she is a Malaysia police. According to our Inspector General Police, he said police have launched an investigation into a female officer accused of making insulting remarks about Chinese citizens. He also said appropriate action will be taken if any misconduct or legal violation are found. The general also said police are conducting not only internal disciplinary investigation, but also examining whether any laws are violated. He also added that the female officer is currently continuing her duty. And he quote, "This is not only a disciplinary matter. If there are elements of legal violation, I will take appropriate action." Last week,
yeah, so the thing is, the reason why this happened to her, or she's under investigation, is because of the power of the unified voice. Malaysian authorities were like, if we let this slide, it's gonna start a diplomatic row. And if you remember, when the Natasha Dole situation happened, and we talked about it, I don't know, I think it was like a month and a half ago. What were the reasons the scientist, the Chinese scientist, he was talking about? He gave the reason why most people did not feel comfortable, and you can also read it in their is it called WeChat? Their version, they have their own internet, as you know. And they were saying they didn't feel comfortable to destroy and abuse the white dolls as opposed to the black doll that they were using as a stress relief toy. And the reason they gave is because they didn't want to start an issue. They didn't want a diplomatic row. So they said, these black folks won't do anything anyways. So we're gonna do this to a baby that looks like a baby toy that is created to look like them. They admitted themselves, fam. This is not me making this up. This is not coming up with, like, it was from them and their own people saying the reason why they do not feel comfortable abusing or using a white stress relief toy in the way they were using a black toy is because they know if they do that to other communities, they will receive backlash. There will be consequences. Let that sink in, fam. Honestly, I don't think that's a light or a simple thing to graze over. Or I genuinely believe that is the biggest takeaway. That should be, in my opinion, that should be the biggest takeaway. Again, in my opinion. So yeah, they know what they're doing. Now I think we've officially debunked these comments that we always get under this conversation, which is especially the ones that, you know, black tourists going to China and being mistreated, or being told they can't have services, they should go away, or they'll ask ridiculous questions like, is your blood really red? Implying that for some reason, if your color is dark, then what, you're no longer a human being? Like, what do you mean, is your blood red? So people will always tell us and me, whenever I bring these topics and clip this tourist interactions with these folks and post it, they say it's because of ignorance. It's because of lack of knowledge. It's because they have not interacted with enough black people, so they don't know any better. I think not. I think we can safely, you know, rest that argument, because, you know, I think our memory is like it's like a goldfish. Do you remember during COVID 2020? Who remembers COVID 2020? I remember because I was covering it and I was right here talking about the stories coming out of China how our people were treated. Do you remember at the hospitals when they were denying them? I remember a pregnant woman being turned away because they spread a rumor in their own country saying that it came from Africa. COVID came from Africa, which, why are we in it? Like, we all know. I mean, even like, do we need to talk about where it came from? I mean, there's always this two stories. One says from China lab, one says from the, like, whichever you look at it, Africa is nowhere in that context. But still, they told themselves and their people that it is these Africans that brought this disease, right? And they were kicking out people from apartments, giving them notice. They were refusing service. Do you remember that post that went viral during that time? They posted, if you are Black, you're not welcome to get service at a restaurant, because apparently it's Black people's fault for what was happening in the world at that time. That is what was happening, but all of a sudden we forget and we say it's ignorance. It's because they don't know better. It's because they have no knowledge. Like, yeah, you can't tell me in one breath they're one of the smartest races or groups of people in the world, right? They tell us very smart, educated, ... On the other side, they tell us it's because they don't know better. That they ask you, if you take a shower, does the black leave your body a little bit? You're Black because you don't shower enough? Do you have blood that is red? I don't know, something doesn't add up. It's either this, they know better and they do it on purpose, or they really don't know anything and they're not the smartest in the world. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Let me get into the chats, fam. Niall says hello. Welcome, Niall. Hi, Susan. Hi, Renz. So what are your thoughts, though? Let me know what your thoughts are about what is happening to this Malaysian tourist that kind of gave them back exactly, like, gave them back what they have been giving to other groups of people. And now there's consequence, though. That's a clear difference, though. There's usually no consequence when they do it, but now they're demanding for a consequence. And this lady might lose her job. As of now, though, she's just being investigated. His Japper said, this Malaysian people are doing God's work. Darlene said, what goes around comes around. Deal with it, stinky. God, Darlene, I did not see that one coming. Okay. He said, I'll buy dinner for this Malaysian people. Ren said, when getting a taste of their own medicine and they don't like it, pure hypocrisy. Yeah, I wish in this moment, we're all human beings, right? How about we, like, they sit down and see how wrong it is what they do to others. If you don't like it when it's being done to you, I mean, it's about time. Reflect. Don't do that to others. How about that? Darlene said, let us start a GoFundMe for the cop freedom of speech. That's funny. Okay, Darlene, do that. Or are you Darlene? I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Kellen Kellen said, Wongel in the tracksuit. Wongel should have her own clothing brand. Do you agree? Okay. Hi, Kellen. What are your thoughts, Kellen, about what just happened? Let us know. Tell us. Do you think that this could be a learning for us? How we should react? And by the way, I should mention, the boycott in the US is really moving a needle, and we're seeing how some folks are panicking, some folks are losing business. I mean, that is a great way, but now, is that done fully? Do you think majority of the people are part of this boycott? Because I've also seen clips resurfacing of, like, Black folks, they're like, they don't care, and they still go and support those businesses. But I've also seen, to stay positive, okay, let's not call out what we're doing and then not appreciate those that are putting in the work, putting in an effort. I've been seeing on online how, at the very least, in specifically nail shops, nail techs, getting booked, not just booked, busy. They're booked till next month, the month to come, because they're Black owned businesses, and there are so many Black people choosing these businesses to support instead of their previous businesses that they were supporting. So I even saw one Nell take crying, breaking down, so happy and excited, and making the most amount of money she's made in a while because of this boycott. It opened up, her blessings, because some folks decided to act up. And now Black people are supporting Black people even more. So yeah, there's that positive story. I think it should not be overlooked. And let's come together and do the right thing. Black Beauty said at ADNC best reporter. Oh, thank you. That's kind of you. Thank you, sis. And all of our people are doing a great job in their own way, in our own way. And thank you, though, for your kind words. Yeah. Yeah, Darlene said they don't care if they do this to someone else. Yeah, that's the part that I'm calling out. That's the part I think we should also see. But let's acknowledge how they are being effective. Don't we want to be effective in our own cause? Of course, not every cause we might agree on, we might support each other on. We all have our own thing, our own tribes, our own countries, our own nationalities, our own the way, when you identify, usually you have your own way of identifying, right? So throughout all that, after that, what really should be done after you identify as this community, as that community, eventually, can't we come together is my point, and make a point. Show them that there is a consequence when you mistreat one of us. You will face something. Usually they don't, if we're going to be honest, but the boycott is a start. Well done. Jay Carter said, knowledge never equals common sense, which nowadays isn't common. Yeah. Gabriel said, Asians now know that there will be consequences for disrespecting Black people. Also, obviously, they can give it, but can't take it. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to end this, conversation in a positive note, because as I'm talking about this, I realize, yes, the boycott actually is showing results, right? Now, are you going to keep the momentum? I mean, especially those that are in America. I mean, it's up to you. This question is towards you, because we're talking about the specific boycott that's happening because of, the tragedy that just recently happened. Is it going to continue? Are you going to continue the momentum? Are you encouraged and committed to supporting your fellow Black friend, colleague, neighbor, friend? Like, are you going to do it? Are you going to, support one another, I guess? So that is a big question. And from the little I was able to witness, there has been a positive change. And Black businesses are reporting that they're not only doubling, but tripling and bringing in more income and booking lots of customers and clients. We love to see it. I mean, kudos to those people that took their money. They didn't just complain. They didn't just say, it's sad what happened to this young boy. They said, this is not right. I'm going to make a point by withholding the money that I was going to spend on you or towards your business, and I'm going to give it back or put it back in my community. I mean, that's respectable. That is admirable, in my opinion. That is impactful and effective. So well done to everyone that participated in that. Just keep the momentum would be the one thing I can say, because it might be easy, or you might find it easy to forget, right? Like a month goes by, 2 months, and then without even realizing it, you're going back to your ways and doing stuff differently. So continue doing your thing is the word of encouragement from my side today. But anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are about the situation that happened in China, why the Malaysian tourist that happened to be a cop. Yeah, let me know down below. I'll see you on the next one. Stay blessed. Bye.